No.
It's Launder's just given the idea there. I mean, I think there is definitely a possibility, but it's fleeting. It's certainly heavily favored in terms of NRG. I think, without seeming cliche, if INTZ, especially with the map pool that we just saw, likes of Train being played, KNG has got to have a big performance again. He dropped 60 kills in their best of 3 yesterday. If we see another KNG performance like that, anything's possible.
Yeah, I do think he has a bit of a tougher task this time around, though, because instead of having to go up against J&T, and again, no offense to him, he's been doing well for himself, Cirque is at a bit of a different level.
Different beast.
Exactly. Yep. So he's more in, in the category of KNG, and where we saw KNG obviously tear it up when he was in Immortals. So it's not going to be as easy. It's not going to be as straightforward, or as it was for him in that game yesterday. But we've seen that KNG can definitely work miracles. But he kind of has to make one happen for them to stand a chance here. I think NRG is always going to be favored regardless of who they go up against in the minor like this. So we'll see. We'll see. At least they do get the benefit of starting on the CD side. So maybe INTZ can get off to something great here early on.
On the other side, though, if they are going to start to concede and their economy never really gets stabilized, it could be a bit of a nightmare too. Circa's got the first, breaking the deadlock of this best of 3. Cello and Destiny both claim kills with their USPs, but it's still going to slightly edge in favor of NRG. You have the player advantage. Zand and Destiny, last 2 make it just Zand. He's got the kit, he's got the drop on the 2 of them, and he's connected 2 headshots. It's him versus Tariq. Still time, Tariq can go to B. And he has decided that is the correct decision. So off he goes.
Zand once again delivering in pistols here. He's been doing that all out through the major for INTZ. Biggest pistol yet, though, today. It's not spotted. Tariq moving over. Tariq actually getting far forward here on by Oil Train. Zand is, you can tell, he's just set up to react to whatever movement he sees. And it's actually the right call. I kind of dig that approach from him as well. Instead of going hunting, he knows that it's going to be a risk for him. He's going to need to clear out so many angles, just allowing Tariq to potentially make a mistake, or at least giving a chance to adjust and get a quick kill. It's probably the best chance he stands in that scenario with the bomb planted.
Also really well played, Tariq, knowing that if he's coming through connector, there is a chance he'd be on that train, or he's in connector itself. Yep. He used the scenery to basically get him up close, to get the drop.
Absolutely. So, yeah, both players pretty much just making the right decision for themselves. Tariq just winning out the Eden duel towards the end of it. That sets off NRG to a flying start here. Not the immediate SG investments, as we've seen a lot of the times. With it seems like the Brazilian teams are favoring that quite a bit, and can't really argue with the results they've provided. But here it's going to be more AK favored. Galil on Breeze. Breeze definitely was one of the players who picked up an SG early on in the game yesterday versus Fury on Train and wreaked havoc. I think it was 13-0 start he had for himself. It's going to be Stan to peer out, see if he finds anything at all. It's going to be quite a bit behind that smoke. He's not quite aware of it yet, but it's the full stack from INTZ here out towards Yard.
And the Bulgarian is poised to strike with his AK. Tariq really keeping their attention elsewhere. Out of bullets, it's a bit of an awkward one for Stanislaw. He's been punished. KNG goes in with a kill. This is a very costly round for NRG, considering the lack of purchase from INTZ.
Yeah. Stanislaw checking his mouse. That's not why you ran out of bullets, but...
don't blame the equipment.
Nope. Bit of an oopsie there, but NRG still stay afloat. Hello. See the investment coming in from INTZ. KNG is going to get that op as well, even though it is a glass cannon. Still does tremendous damage with it. See what comes of it, though.
You feel like another huge piece of this puzzle for INTZ, though, is Cello.
Yeah, he's been so vital in terms of getting opening frags a lot of the time.
And Yellow, additionally, on the CD side, if they do go for double AWPs, he will be picking up the second of them, so he is going to be called into action.
Yeah, well, we saw INTZ play Train as well. He was one of the players who had the roughest of times actually getting into it because he opted out of going for the AWP. They didn't really rely on the double AWP setup, but again, if you can't connect anything at all with a rifle, you might be better off trying to get that green AWP, even if it might not be ideal in terms of what kind of setups you're trying to run, whether it's on T or CT side. You need to get some sort of production out of him. That's going to be a tiny gap. KNG's still going to look away for the time being.
I think he's looking away because he's anticipating flashbangs. Zand, MP9, had the right idea, just slightly off on the aim. And they have completely repelled and pushed back INTZ. They have plundered the site, torched it to the ground. And Yell and Cello can only hope to hold on to their guns.
Yeah.
NRG off to a cracking start here.
Do such a good job of moving forward as well to make the rotations in from INTZ that much harder once the initial defense has been broken apart. INTZ, unlike Sharks, not really feeling their chances of a retake here in this scenario. Didn't have a defuse kit either on any of the players, so fully understandable. The NRG at this stage early on in the game, not too interested in actually hunting, just want to hold on to their weaponry. Question is now, if we're going to see a rebuy behind this, you could drop 2 FAMASs on the side of INTZ. One of the players there already had enough to potentially get a FAMAS for himself, some utility. Try to bounce back right into it. It would be Zand who would have to invest on his own. He's actually going to go in for an MP9. Just a half investment, though. KNG making sure that he has enough cash to get an AWP in his hand in the next round. Actually, buys up light Kevlar behind that as well. Should still be okay, but again, prevents a potential to get a couple of extra grenades or potentially a full Kevlar, etc. once he picks up that AWP. But we'll see how this pans out.
Well, Tarek's going to go in and mangle Cello.
It's both the weapons out initially. Destiny's picked it up, but already been taken down through the smoke, so didn't really get to put that to use. Breeze, position we saw him use quite a bit actually yesterday. Holding the back line here of Train. Make sure there's no rotation in. Zan's just patiently waiting though. Head shown, no kill found.
And it's still worth saving, as you highlighted before. KNG dipping in with the Kevlar. This is going to go a little bit towards his AWP. A few more nades, and in the meanwhile, MP9 is not the worst gun in the world to have if you play the likes of Pop Dog, maybe up close on B side, even Ivy. There are options available if they can hold on. But a 4-0 lead on NRG on their T side of Train. That is going to be a concern for the Brazilians. Tarek yet to die. 163 ADR. Dropped down to 123 after the round has reached its conclusion. INTZ then, going to have enough for AWPs. Let's see what they can do with it.
And it does feel like they need to get into the groove of things pretty early on, considering that NRG are playing on that T side. So if they're able to swell a couple of rounds together, get 6-7 early on here in the first half, it might be all but over. NRG had a blistering T side versus Furia, netting themselves 8 rounds. Go. Smoke to the back of 6 Train. Really corner Yell, and he's going to miss out. First opportunity with the AWP does not pan out.
Oh, and KNG's shot arrived, shot too early. So his position now compromised. He has to turn tail and run away. There's so many smokes planted down on the site. It is causing issue with vision from Destiny, who's just wrapping around time and time again. He's desperate to find something. There we go, Stanislaw has been evaporated. And as you say, the bomb gets dropped down. Easily retrieved from NRG, but they're going to have to move someone out into the open to go ahead and get it. Breeze going to take the initiative with his SG. That Molotov's going to bank off the wall. KNG going to use the smoke as his ally. If he pushes through at the right time, they're going to be free pickings. There's one, looking for more. Sees the barrel, but Destiny takes it away from him, leaving Cirque in a 1-on-2. Going to trade to his AK-47, give him a bit more room for error.
Oh, Destiny's already rotated in. He knows what's in the mind of Zerk already. This is probably not something Zerk's going to be expecting, especially with such a far forward positioning. This is great play from Destiny, so heads up.
Zerk is checking angles.
He is.
He had time. He had 35 seconds. There was no need for him to rush in. And it's still a clarity of mind to pull off that play is huge. This is where it may work against him if he does peek. So he's going to play to his weapons advantages. That's up close. Don't go peeking. You know you're against KNG. You know he's going to have an AWP. So just stay in position.
Eventually, he needs to peer for information. That's going to be enough. Wins out the duel as well. No time for KNG to swap back to that AWP and reinitiate. So the young Bulgarian gets the better of KNG, not in an AWP versus AWP duel, but NRG going to take it nonetheless. 5 rounds already.
Yeah, very well played by Cirque. As you say, double AWPs. being repelled. That's going to hurt their economy. It's also going to hurt their confidence. Yell only got the 1 kill, and KNG, although he stayed around to the end, didn't really have as much impact as he would have liked.
It's definitely true. Sark here doing some early work to net energy at 5th round. Yeah, the fact that he has the presence of mind to check that angle as well. Destiny was so early on with the rotation as well, so he didn't make any sound. There's nothing really for Cirque to go off of. Just pure game sense. Well done on his end. So INTZ with the tactical timeout, talking things through. Obviously, they know that they're up against a massive task here, trying to topple energy on one of their better maps. They're looking very confident on train, even if they've had a couple of hiccups here and there. Tarek gonna make it into Olafas, undetected as well, so that's Zan down. This has been another investment on the side of INTZ as well. KNG with the AWP. Ideal start. Still a lot of utility left as well, and that's one thing that Energy did really well on their previous yard push too. Even with all the initial smokes that go out, they still have enough to continue to move their way forward. It's kind of the trademark of a really strong T-side team.
Yeah, they are clumping up on A. Suddenly, KNG realizes, well, B's open. Should go check that out with the AWP.
He's going to be the most vital part of this defense for INTZ, almost regardless of what side they end up going towards. Yeah, that inner bomb side is very susceptible for a push. KNG is going to pretty much need to land every single shot that he gets a chance to take.
Smoke count's been deployed, man. That's not fantastic, though.
Doesn't. KNG, though, still not convinced that they're going to move in here, but that probably sets it off, and 1 for 1 so far.
He's looking for more, too.
Bomb's not been committed down, though. It's only Tarek here on the bomb side.
And there is also a rotation. Destiny is coming through with the MP9.
Who's going to get the better out of the flanks, though? Because Breezy is working on his own thing in back Ivy. Saw them doing this versus Fury as well. Then it didn't really come into fruition. Breezy didn't have to do much of anything.
And G's on a swivel, looking for all the angles. Going to find Stanislaw. Tarek's still at the back of the slide. He hasn't moved an inch. He hasn't budged a muscle. He's in the smoke. Ooh, he is trying his best to repel this push. They're not going to check him. Oh my God! Tarek, patience a virtue. Nothing peanut brain about that.
How the hell does he pull that off?
He didn't move an inch. That was so unreal.
And even with that, I mean, completely correct call to just stand put there and try to make the most out of it. But he still needs to make that transfer, not just from 1 to 2, but also get a third player in all the chaos. And man alive, when KNG picks off Breezy in that situation, you think it's all done for. They can, at best, get 1 to 2 players, and eventually it ends up being a costly round for INTZ, but surely not a round win for Energy.
See, Ben, that is where bait's okay. He baited the rest of his team,
100%.
but
you
he
can
came
live
up
with that.
clutch. The rest of his team is loving that. That was such a sick play.
Yeah, we need to get a replay of that eventually. KNG still going to get an AWP to his name, and that might be actually something that Energy wasn't quite aware of. KNG's had an AWP 3 rounds in a row now. What a play from Tarek there. 175 ADR, and you can see why. Awkward approach to pop dog from Ethan. That's going to leave him with a death. 2-minute advantage. Surely this is when INTZ managed to bounce back.
That was a big moment in round 2 because they only have 2 flashes and 1 smoke at their disposal, INTZ. They can't really stop these pushes, so thinning out NRG was definitely the way forward. Now they'll be pushing into KNG. They're looking to make amends for allowing that 1v3 to come into play.
Smart by KNG not to immediately go for the repeak as well. He knows that Cirque's there with an AWP. Even though he does remove Zan, it's bought him enough time.
Don't give Cirque a chance here, INTZ. He will punish you. He will punish you. Do not peek him 1 by 1. He's using that smoke to reposition and get round the back of the CTs. Oh, he's not made any noise either. This is so brutal for INTZ. He could even get to the side of the site. He's picked up another one. This would be one of the plays of the miners. He's going to be able to get to the other side of the site. 15 seconds left. Going to go for the plant. They can't afford to peek because for all they know, it's a fake. And now he's able to get on the backside of the site with the AWP. He's going to go for another peek. He spots Yell. Misses the shot, but still alive to tell the tale. There's Yell to return fire. What a beautiful effort by Cirque, but it wasn't quite good enough.
Oh, you can see him winning out those rounds. The second he finds the third kill, sneaks into connector. It's anybody's game at that point.
And if INTZ had conceded 2 rounds like that back to the back,
Oh,
I mean,
backbreaker, 100%.
their mind would be gone.
How do you get back from that? Here we see that Masters round from
that
Tarek.
was so
That is
sick.
so quick.
It's not just like to stay in position, it's his spray transfer was perfect.
That is honestly the most impressive part. Like, yeah, seeing it live, that's part patience and also INTZ not being able to, I guess, fully clear the site. You need to connect it that rapidly as well when you know everything falls down onto you. Makes it all that much more impressive in INTZ. Yeah, they need to have a bit of a breather.
Oh, yeah.
Even with a 2-man advantage there, Zerk nearly brings it back from absolutely nowhere.
They need to calm that pulse down somewhat because their blood pressure must be through the roof after those last 2 rounds. You can see, though, from Cirque's individual effort, he's brought the economy down. So INTZ, not just on top of all the stresses they've had to deal with, if they lose this, they're right back to being broke.
Yeah. Luckily, though, this time, NRG can definitely expect there to be ops in play. They know that much. Seems like Stanislav was not prepared for it as he conceded the first frag and the aggression from Cello. Oh, eventually gets rewarded for all his hard work, but does get traded out.
KNG missing that shot is very surprising considering some of the stuff he was landing yesterday.
It's all in a good position to
That's
rectify
more
it, though. Even down. Look at that. Zant's getting real aggressive with the MP9 and well, makes it work, and Apoka's been activated.
You think they just qualified for the major? They just won the match off that reaction.
You love to see it.
Still a way to go, boys.
I really like. In some ways, like regardless of the outcome of this, it's going to be a glorious thing because it means we're going to get to see more of INTZ, right? If they qualify, we're going to have this at the major.
Oh yeah.
Which is going to be a spectacle of itself. And if they go down, we get to have another shouting match with 2 Brazilian teams because they do face Furia if they were to lose here. And I think that, regardless of the outcome, you're going to get a fantastic spectacle of Counter-Strike.
And of course, if that came into play, Fury would then have a point to prove because it was INTZ that beat them in the very first game.
That is very
true. So there's
true.
so many storylines here at play.
It's going to be a glorious finish to the Americas Minor. And I'll be honest, in previous iterations of the Americas Minor, NA Minor, whatever it was labeled at the time, it didn't bring too much excitement to it a lot of the time. It would be either just a massive disappointment, you had the instance of NRG just bombing out.
Sure.
At one point, or it would be just not that much of a spectacle around it. It would be always, this would be kind of the waiting room for the EU minors to take place. I feel like the Americas minors definitely lived up to the hype this time around. It's been a spectacle from start to finish. It's just so fun to watch.
Really has. The atmosphere has been phenomenal. NRG, though, can't let it get to them. 6-2 lead is still fantastic going. Although INTZ have definitely woken up from their slumber. In terms of this round, though, NRG, not a great deal to play with. Just a few pistols, 2 deagles, a few nades, a couple Kevlar, too, if they can find a weapon. But the onus is really on them to crack open the... Oh, my goodness, that nade. That kind of took my breath away. That just wrecked 3 players hard.
I think it did some lung damage as well to the energy players. KNG not missing that one. Cirque's able to find Zan, though, so this is going to be a bomb plant for Energy. Mission accomplished. KNG's not giving up, though. Just getting pressured here, so he needs to get out of dodge. Destiny luckily there to help him out, heal as well. So, not too phased about giving up a bomb plant, apparently.
Let's go, we beat an eco round.
Yeah. No, you got to take your victories when you can.
Oh, for sure. They need to build up that confidence and start to get fired up, definitely. And they also took the fight to the CTs purely off the basis of they knew if they just sat back, there's going to be incendiaries, nades, flashes. Like, you may as well try and catch them as they have them nades out.
Oh, for sure.
You've already got the bomb plant, so why not?
Anything after that is just gravy. But it does mean that INTZ get to 3. Means also means that their economy is a bit bolstered up. KNG is going to be able to get ops for days, the way it's looking right now. He's feeling it today, much like the rest of the miner as well. This is a much more aggressive look. Still going to win out the duel. Doesn't matter if there's a wall in the way. Ethan goes down.
KNG had a really slow start to train. He's on 11-6 now. These last few rounds, he's been front and center.
Yeah, we said it's not going to be as easy for him to have the kind of a showing he had yesterday, considering the opponents he's going up against now, but doesn't seem to slow him down at all.
Tarek moves into his own flashbang, I believe that was, but may have felt pressured and compelled. Yell, good shot. Could see the ankles underneath the smoke.
Oh. The raid boss of Cirque is still alive. He's doing damage here. Wins out the duel versus KNG as he jumps into his crosshairs. We've seen this almost turn before.
Yep. You better believe INTZ remember that too. Additionally, keep in mind, CT side is always a little bit worrisome economically, so you need to make sure you don't throw any more weapons away.
Yeah, the thing for Zerk in this situation, though, is that he's not really committed to a bomb site right now like he was in the previous round, so explanation to save might be in the back of his mind. As he moves forward, Destiny finds him. Great round from Destiny there. Gets 2 frags off a bomb train and then follows it up with the finishing blow onto Zerk and Pop.
Yeah, some more positives too. Yell's getting in the thick of it with his AWP, so the double up setups are beginning to pay off.
Yeah, and you do love to see the fact that they've made that adjustment. He kind of refused to go to the AWP last time around they played train, and I think he ended up with something like 3 to 4 frags throughout the entirety of the matchup. And then you saw him going into Mirage the next game, lights it up with the AWP once he gets his hands on it. So definitely, if you're not making it work, as a former primary opera as well, just have the confidence in yourself to feel like you can fall back on your old strengths. Here we see Destiny does a lot of the work out in the yard to shut down NRG's push.
Solid hold. That is yet another round in a row. I believe that's 4 now that they've picked up back-to-back after NRG took a 6-0 lead.
Yeah, they needed to make a stance at the time they did as well. I can only imagine what would happen once NRG gets off to, 6-0, 7-0, 8-0. Just starts to really deflate the CT side and how they feel about it. But they've gotten into the groove of things, and again, money's looking pretty decent on their end as well.
Pistols in play last time. They hit B hard. Have to see if history repeats itself.
This time they've added a couple of nades to their utility belt as well. 3 Molotovs, in fact. So you'd imagine that goes around the top of back 3. Potentially one of them going towards, well, KNG's current position right now. Might hold on to one for a potential after plan as well. We'll see. Here we go. The Molotovs go out to the back 3 train. Nothing really to, well, deal with KNG, but missed the first shot.
Zand running out of bullets with the M4A1S. Even with the 5 additional.
Quicker response from INTZ, though. They know that rotating through connector is going to be a bit of a nightmare. Last Molotov to go out, and that, well, really limits their options for the retake. And bomb is down. So time is working against INTZ here.
Also, you look at how many grenades INTZ have. They've got 2 incendiaries, flashbangs, a HE. Those are going to be tossed to the back. Cirque up close on 15 health has been found and fragged. Breeze going to try and stymie the push. Repel this as best as he can. He's only got 1 player alongside him. And they've both been cauterized. NRG not going to be able to hold on to the bomb plant. INTZ with 5 now in a row.
That's about as good as a retake as you can hope for from INTZ. Clears out everything perfectly. And the fact that they were so quick to make the decision, figuring out that, okay, we're not going to get it through, or we're not going to get through connector in a safe manner, so let's just forego that. And then the Molotov comes down towards one of the entrance path. They just still commit as a 4-man unit to push up forward. And I think that's the correct move to make. And it's important that teams do this as well, because so many times you think like, well, we might be better off if we just wait it out. But again, the bomb being down, you only have so much time to work with. Double nade comes out from main. Not going to affect anyone on the side of INTZ.
Yell is deciding to take the first point of contact just behind the Ivy box. Does have Destiny behind him in case flashbangs start to come through. They can try and bait him out. Smoke down. Now the trajectory of that, they may very well know he's behind the box, which is why they're trying to spam up through the smoke. And he's decided to piece out of there, just taking minimal damage, just 17 in total. Minute on the board. Bomb still dropped back towards the T-spawn. NRG just setting up in a fairly standard default, not really giving anything away. Watching for INTZ potential pushes.
TZ is much fun as they are to watch. Not exactly as inclined to be aggressive in the same fashion as Furia. Yell, as you said, definitely more impactful here with the op in this game to start us off. And KNG is going to find Breezy as well. So 2 heavy hitters on the side of NRG down already, but Ethan's still alive. He's doing work.
He just pushed through Pop Dog, killed 2 people in the back. Stanislaw now headshotting Destiny, throwing a Molotov down. Is he going to spread? Yes, it will, but KNG still going to push through. He's missed his chance down to 36, but still able to get the 1. But that's it. NRG have stopped the rot.
Stanislaw was pretty much planning on top of KNG in that scenario as well. I felt a little bit optimistic to go for that, but yeah, teammates got his back.
I think the issue there as well, though, Ven, they had both AWPers. Yell was at the site looking at Ivy. KNG was at the back of Ivy looking into Ivy.
Yeah.
No one was watching Pop Dog. Like that's an unforgivable setup. That's a mistake. This is what I mean. Ethan just comes through and it's just clear kills.
Seems like Cello just gets caught in the wrong moment, right? If he's playing around that E-box area, you kind of rotate around positions or rotate around angles to have an eye on access from T-Main, and also Pop Dog just gets caught looking the wrong direction, which is also going to be the demise of Yell. And that's NRG is 7. It's the first round in quite a while, though. It's not like INTZ are hurting for cash just yet, but this is a pretty big round. Double up, always going to cost the CT side a whole ton of money.
Yeah, Breeze can just stay here. By even staying close, he's having presence. Because they've lost 1 player already, it means that Yell can't focus his attention towards main. So it is a little bit of a conundrum that they have to deal with. Yell still in that position, waiting to see if Breeze will peek out. Nothing so far. 45 seconds coming up. Cello in Pop Dog. Make amends for that previous round where Ethan battered them from this very position. So it's looking like a B hit with Breeze coming around the backside and flanking. See if he can get some kills as they rotate and transition across to the B side. But they have to get there first, and that's going to be much easier said than done, but it just got a whole lot more possible courtesy of Cirque's frag onto KNG. Zan in the back of the side does land the dink, but it's not enough to get the kill. Cello quickly wrapping into play, leaving Yell in a 1-on-4. Not for much longer. Much better from NRG.
It definitely was. A little bit of timing favoring them as well. Zan leaves lower bomb site, or doesn't leave the lower bomb site, but leaves his position aiming towards lower. The second a couple of feet pop down. So he's out of position, leaves KNG in a disfavored disfavored duel with Cirque as he has to move into the angle. That's everything in motion for Energy to get them to 8. Right now with the pistols going out as well, you'd expect them to make it 9 as well in rather rapid fashion. Energy's T-side, as ever, looking really solid.
3 kills in the blink of an eye. And with them, the round should follow. Zand going to be taking an adventure down into Pop Dog, trying to bait out the shot from Cirque, but it's actually the AK-47 that is rattling off shots from Ethan. This is a dangerous game of whack-a-mole. You probably don't want to play, Zand.
It's not going to end well, and Ethan with the forward position as well. Okay, well,
oh, never
Zand
mind.
Was expecting that. Still trying to toy with Zerk. Zerk's going to be patient as ever.
Really? Is this
okay, Zand?
Is this happening? He's got an AK now.
At times too far to take, but he's got an AK. I mean,
that's filthy if he survives. But Breeze is making a move, by the way, up.
All that work.
He's about to just spoil the fun.
A for effort from Zand, showcasing some mobility there. And a 9th round for Energy. If they were to get to 10 rounds, obviously you'd have to favor them pretty heavily. I mean, they've already pulled together a pretty solid T-side half here. Much like in their first bout on Train against Furia as well, they did it by setting the tempo early getting so many rounds in a row before allowing INTZ to get on the board. KNG back on the off though. So anything can happen at this stage. And NRG have said themselves, their T sides feel way better than their CT sides on most maps. Just working off of pretty much the setups that they've gotten from or had with DAPS as well. So there's familiarity with it. It's not like they're going into something completely new, and they're able to reap the rewards of that. But their CT sides still feel a little bit clustered at times.
Which is to be expected when the roster is still relatively new. Ethan piles out of catwalk, spins across, and Zan loses his head. He's decapitated. They're being pulverized on B. Molotov in the eyes of Yell.
They're so good at just moving forward. Everything's set up in terms of getting control of that inner bomb side. So even though Destiny is able to find Stanislaw here, you can see the positioning of Tarek is going to be so hard to deal with for INTZ.
This flag from Tarek. Now it's all going horribly wrong. Destiny to try and remedy the half. Won't be happening. 10-5, double digits already. NRG on their T side have been looking pretty strong, but I mean, they had chances here, INTZ. They had moments where they could have even reversed this score.
Absolutely. Looking pretty damn solid for, you know, for what this halftime score would entail. But nonetheless, we're going to head to a quick commercial break. But when we get back, it's going to be time to figure out who's going to close out map number 1.
In our qualification match to the Major, it currently sits at 10-5 in the lead to NRG as they move through to the CT side on their choice of map train. It is our first map of the best of 3. And as you said though, Van, it could get quite interesting because they still don't feel fully comfortable on their CT sides.
Yeah, NRG have gone out and said themselves that they don't feel too confident about their CT sides. They're really happy about where their T sides find themselves as of right now, and I think what we saw in the first half was a clear example of that. Felt like they got into a pretty a good groove of things. Their execute looks solid. You know, especially their inner side takes were very, very strong for the better part of that first half. So you have to feel good about that. Obviously, confidence is something that you want to take into it when you play that CT side, feeling like you can win out any sort of duel, just sitting off an angle. But this is definitely INTZ's time to shine and potentially bring this back into a bit of a more up.
Oof. And Cirque has taken a chunk of damage from the Glock at range. KNG going to try and bridge the gap, and it's Cello that finishes off. Ethan has been put down. Stanislaw at the backside of the site. Going to see if he can rattle some heads, but it's him and Cirque. And Cirque's only on 23 HP up close. INTZ going to take the second pistol. And that is definitely going to throw a wrench in the works for NRG.
Absolutely. INTZ get the chance now to shorten the gap at the very least. I'd assume a couple of SGs and AKs to come out. We'll be interested to see whether or not NRG want to go for a bit of a force buy, or if they're just going to try to secure their economy as much as possible. See if they can get an op early in the hands of Zerk for Byron or not. I'll work off of that. Now, it is going to be the investment here. 2 scouts, Breezy, Zerk, looking to do some tag damage, make it easier for Stanislaw and Co. to actually have an impact with the pistols and MP9s that they brought into this.
A similar kind of buy that you may see on a Dust 2, and for similar reasons. A lot of expansive open areas. A Dink onto Destiny, but a 3-player peak. It's going to summarize Stanislaw in this round.
Ooh, Zerk gets tagged out to 1 HP immediately as he peeks through connector, and yeah, that just sends them packing right away. And I think this is the right call from NRG as well. Stanislaw playing aggressively towards inner is a bit of an early warning system for them, so they could potentially get a rotation in towards the inner bomb site before INTZ to commit to anything. But the fact that they just go down the lower ramp so early and just kind of wait it out, make sure that NRG have no real way of coming back into the round. But again, holding on to these 4 investments that they've made is going to give them another shot at it. The MP9 loss is not really the massive thing. The thing you want to keep onto here on the side of NRG is obviously Kevlar, which you have on the 2 pistol players, but also the Scouts itself.
Yeah. Because the Scouts are effectively assist magnets. If you tag anybody with it, they're going to be dropped down to about 30, puts you in range of pistols, can quickly get out of control.
Yeah. And considering the fact that you have so good mobility with the Scout as well, allows you to be all over the place rather quickly, and you add a second one into that as well. It just becomes complete chaos, potentially, for the T side as they try to move forward. See how INTZ deal with this. I'm assuming Stanislaw's not going to really invest too much at all into this, considering he died. Yeah, just going to be flashbang. Might set up one of his players for an aggressive peek somewhere.
Yeah, likely Ethan or Tarek with the pistols to get up close with these past the flashbang. Maybe into main.
Oh, he's already used it to get Breezy up on higher. Ethan's going to be the one to find the first kill, though. That's Zan going down. And we've seen this actually happen with INTZ, where they go up against well, lackluster buys, but they don't use their utility to actually clear space. This time they've committed hard towards the inner bomb site early on. And then goes Stanislaw.
Stanislaw's had enough. He wants to take the fight to INTZ, who now trailed by a player. Smoke going to be deployed to try and get rid of some of this vision. Breeze does have a grenade. Going to be hiding in the smoke. They start to spray through this. No, he's going to be able to stay alive for a little bit longer. Ethan now making a move from the A side of the map. Breeze connects onto Cello. Starting to overcome the terrorist aggression. There's a tag onto KNG. This is looking ominous now. Yeah, he is a bullet away from death with this Scout. He's at 71, and it's going to be Soak that puts it into him. KNG, 1 on 3. He's going to go down to Breezy. They've done it with 2 Scouts and 2 pistols.
There you see the value in holding on to those weapons. Again, just realizing that the last round, it was lost. Not going to bring it back from there. Just having to swing into awaiting opponents is not an easy thing. Now you get the upper hand, just taking the angles, taking the fights, deciding what kind of duels you want to take with the Scout. It's a much different story. And also an equally bigger blow to INTZ as well. That felt like that was one of the rounds that they should be cruising through on. Being that much closer to NRG, but halted in a brutal manner. Still going to be able to buy up here, though. SGs, AKs all around. Limited on utility, though, but still have the smokes to potentially set up for yard take here.
Stanislaw eats the early damage in his confrontation on B. TZ looking as though they may still have to make a move back towards the main side. Bomb was dropped near T-spawn.
Now 2 players playing on the inner bomb side from NRG, but so far back that it is going to be a retake setup. They do have kits on Ethan and Breezy. So 1 Molotov on Tarek, so definitely justified to do it as well. Ethan so far forward and pop, so he can work on a quick rotation as well. Nobody on INTZ actually staying behind to care for that, at least for the time being.
Smoke being deployed is going to stall INTZ a little bit longer. They want to annul this marriage that NRG have plastered down on the site. Counter smoke in play. Sir can't see a great deal, but is able to change his attention towards the catwalk. Well, he's got him for 2. Headshots being connected. There's another shot. His ADR spiking hard in this round with the Scout. And they're able to repel the push from the terrorists.
And it's really fun to see the kind of upswing in form as well from Cirque. Had a bit of a lull after a great 2018, the start of 2019 not being too kind to him. It's oftentimes what you see with well, just young talents having a bit of a skyrocketing year just in general. People adjust to how you play and whatnot, but I mean, if you're going to be this accurate with a sniper, there's not a whole lot people can do about it.
Just shaking his head to himself like they tried.
Yeah, it's like they tried.
They tried.
Too damn good.
It's a full eco. Well, near enough a full eco. Just a P250 really purchased, and it's going the way you'd expect. Not a single point of health lost. NRG just brutalized INTZ. It was a throwaway round. Here come the AKs.
Tariq on point there. Haven't seen too much of Tariq, obviously, after his crazy start to the game, which, again, was massive for NRG to get them off to a good start, but everyone else kind of chimed in from that point on, but you could tell the man knows how to place his crosshair. 3 easy kills for him there. So, with the match paused, the team's talking things through. You'd hope to see something more coming out of INTZ, but again, it's a pretty hard opponent in NRG to go up against on train, you'd have to say. Actually, yeah, not going to be a tactical one. Going to be a technical timeout. Sort out some small issues. Should be getting back into business rather shortly.
Wondering if this takes a bit of the sting out of the momentum on the side of NRG. A chance for a bit of a collective few deep breaths on INTZ, who are eyeing up the very real possibility they're going to be 1-0 down when they could have potentially gone straight through to the major after this match.
That's very true. And for those who are not aware, map pick of INTZ in this series is Mirage, and it's not like NRG or slouches on that either.
So we're back into it. Molotovs displacing INTZ. Can't afford to push through there just yet. Going to be looking for the peak, and Cirque still hasn't traded out. He's got $10,000, and he is so confident to keep him with the scout. It's only worth $1,700.
If it works, it works. Again, INTZ eyeing up that inner bomb side. This one's going to go a little bit more brutally in. Not as much smokes, not as much flashes, but still going to get the job done. Zan finds Zerk. Stanislaw is going to be dealt with by KNG as well. So low HP, but man advantage. And bomb down, more importantly.
With a turn in fortune on INTZ, they have banished NRG away from the B site. An AK and an M4, certainly a worthwhile save, but NRG feel like they could still get this going in their favor. They've got 2 kits in play, no grenades other than a flash. Breeze and Tariq making the trek across. 2 players are low. There's no Molotov either for INTZ, so they can't bank that off the wall onto the site, but with Breeze going down, it is the round going with him. So 13-8, but they do have more than enough funds, as we highlighted, for a rebuy.
Yeah. Cirque sitting at around 11K. Dude's holding on to that scout for so long. Now he's going to have the shot to get instant kills instead. And yeah, the odds from GD.bet heavily favoring NRG in this scenario, and you can't really fault him. Sitting at 13 rounds already. Playing the easier side of the map as well. But INTZ is not giving up at all. And they've had a bit of a trend for actually just being behind by significant numbers and actually fighting back in most of their games. So you definitely can't say that they quit. They're going to have a tactical pause as well. They know that they're going to have to deal with fully weaponized energy side as well. Cirque back on that op. Probably just trying to figure out how they're going to venture about. Inner bomb site seems to have been something that they've taken affection to early on at the very least.
Yeah, I mean,
if that continues.
INTZ are like one of those teams, it feels, that are often outmanned but never outgunned.
Yes.
Like, you can never fully write them off. They can always bounce back. It's the same with a lot of Brazilian teams. Like, there's so much tenacity in that region, so much passion that often comes through.
Brazilians here, right?
Yeah.
Started off as a bit of a funny term, but there's definitely a lot of truth to it.
Cool little pop flash from Ethan, but no one's home from INTZ. They're not too interested in Pop Dog for the time being. Reese has taken a bit of damage on his endeavors out of Ivy. And still no AWP on the side of INTZ on their T side. They weren't able to rummage one this round. I mean, KNG could have afforded it, though. He picked up an SG instead. Maybe looking for more of the fast execute.
KG's shown that he's definitely not a slouch with that weapon as well. As long as it has a scope on it, he's going to be able to hit shots. But obviously, it makes that duel versus Cirque a whole lot harder. 2 men playing solid on the inner bomb site. Breezy and Stanislaw. And Stanislaw going to find a double kill right off the bat. So the contact play from INTZ nets nothing. All of a sudden, you're in a really rough spot. 55 seconds to go. A lot of your utility has already been wasted. And now you don't have any smokes, and you want to go out in towards yard. There's been no reason for NRG to rotate with no players going down as well, so you know that there's going to be a solid bolstered defense as well. Oh, sure. Actually, uncharacteristically missing, and Ethan's going to lose the duel and pop.
Yeah, Ethan died as a result of that miss. It was him that got targeted instantly. You can see his body slumped in the corner.
Zand has actually decided to, run for a bit of a flank here on inner, but Stanislaus heard this all the way, so he knows what's coming.
15 seconds too. Doesn't have time.
At least he's going to have the opportunity to save here. NRG not super likely to go hunting, considering that they're not super flush with cash. Breezy sitting at 4.2, but outside of that, it's expensive to play on the CT side. You can see Zerk's bank was pretty much expended completely, dropping around weapons, picking up an op for himself. So they're going to leave KNG to his lonesome. That means that he can drop off the Krieg if they want to invest into this and buy an op for himself. See that kill distribution throughout the rounds here. Early days, it was a couple of close rounds there for NRG with one player surviving. INTZ's, well, string of rounds on their CT side, fairly dominant, actually.
Yeah, it was after a 6-0 lead from NRG. INTZ came back with 5, and then they started to lose out again. They lost the rest of the half. So a 10-5 half fell upon us. It was looking as if maybe they could course correct and make this a close one again when they won early on with the pistol.
NRG has responded back in spades, though.
Now the tactical timeout to establish what next.
Yeah, the tactical timeout so far in this America's Minors have been proven to be pretty efficient. We usually see teams bounce back. Well, more investment. And yeah, of course, KNG cannot afford to buy an op considering he's saved, so he's not going to get any money with the bomb not being planted. So they're hoping for some heroics from KNG. Otherwise, everything is going to fall to the potential last round when NRG is at map point. Destiny peeking for information. We'll find something at least, but it takes damage for it. Knows Terex is playing close up by Olaf.
Banking the Molotov just to make sure that main won't be in contention anytime soon. INTZ are just backing away anyway through towards the B side. Have the bomb in the hands of Yell. Cello going to be taking point, looking to see if he can find anybody on the outskirts of box halls, but no one's home. And RG are playing more passively. You can see Stanislaw's way back. The back trains of B, and he is all alone, but he's got an AUG, and we've already seen what he can do with this gun. It's just flashes and the one smoke in play. And with 2 players from NRG actually perched up on the bomb site on A side, they can quickly wrap around into connector if the call comes through, which it will right here, right now. Stanislaw's going to take a slightly different angle. Wants to stay alive for the rest of his team. They can batter down and look to vanish any terrorists that push their way. Bomb's been planted, but Stanislaw with a quickfire 3. Banking the nade off the wall, but KNG's already been killed, and Destiny in the back of the site can do nothing. NRG going to have 7 map points.
Here you go, it's Stanislaw. Screaming back, much to the amusement of Zerk.
Did he say you have no idea what you're doing?
Might be.
I heard what you're doing, so I just kind of... I'm assuming that's what the start of it was.
That could be. I don't know, Stanislaw, like, they didn't have weapons, so... Bit of an easy target in that sense. Nonetheless, it does put NRG to map point now. Potential...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
there we go. It wasn't... You have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
Something similar.
Well, NRG feeling pretty confident about the position they find themselves in right now. KNG with the op, gonna miss the initial peek. Sticks around for more, and that's Zerk down. Heavy hitter on the side of NRG, already taken out of the equation. That's exactly what you need for the Brazilians.
Oh, a flick, KNG. You don't want to tempt fate with him, Stanislaw. He's more than happy enough to get passionate. Tarek, in the meanwhile, one of 2 remaining counter-terrorists, is going to lay KNG to waste. Destiny returns fire. Breeze 1 on 4 now. M4 top of the site is about to get flanked, and it's going to be Zand. Now, is he coming up for a knife? Surely not. Surely he just finishes him off.
Feels like a bit much at this stage. Should just make sure they get cleanly away from this one. And they do. And I was about to say, the only thing you really need to focus on in this round if you're INTZ is picking up that off. Dropping that off for KNG. If you can start off your rounds that way, you're on to something. So they start fighting back. Looking at double figures here to close the gap. NRG obviously on map point. So INTZ needs to deliver a perfect 6 rounds in a row to stay alive in this. See what they can come up with. KNG moving towards main as well. Cello's going to jump out into Olaf. He's going to do so possibly uncontested as well. I don't think they've noticed that he's there.
Well, he had the best possible spawn for it, and now he's shown his hand, but he's going to be dealt with accordingly. Ethan up close. And Cello is one of those players that we highlighted would need to have a big performance, and I believe he's only on 10 kills. He really hasn't had the level of impact we were looking for.
It's been a bit hit and miss. Yell's moved far forward here. Lower ramp. He's the only player on INTZ over here, though, so he's hoping to cause a bit of commotion. If he can find either Zerk or Stanislaw, that's going to force a rotation from NRG. Make the job a whole lot easier for the rest of the INTZ squad moving in towards outer. Molotov, not going to affect Yell. Sitting on the ladder. Keeping his toes toasty. Question is now whether or not they want Yell to be the aggressor here to force the rotation, or if he's going to work as a flank. And it seems like he's going to be the initiator here for INTZ. Rotation goes away as well, so he only needs to deal with one. Obviously, he can't know this just yet. Stanislaw about to get caught out, and now you can see the instant reaction coming in from NRG.
Yeah, this is work to charm. Yell is doing so much work for INTZ. Ethan's still perched up in heaven, though, could do some damage. Breeze, next line of contact. But he now realizes it's going to be an A plant, and he has to come back up the staircase to deal with it. KNG finds himself another one. The Brazilians starting to get fired up.
Yeah, notes being furiously taken here as to what they're doing right. I mean, if they get big openings, whether it's from Cello, KNG, Yell, whoever it may be, they'll take it. Utilizing the spawn to the fullest of their ability to weaken the defensive energy. This sets them off on a good path, and Yell doing an excellent job on the ender bomb site. Oh, pistols for energy here, so yet again, another chance for INTZ to close the gap. Stanislaw is going to get aggressive. He's got teammates behind him as well. Ooh, is Cello going to give up the position at just the wrong moment? No, gets into a bit of a safer hold here. And actually, NRG, they're going to bail out. They're not even going to continue on with this one. Might just be stacking up towards Yard at this stage, hoping for the best. And INTZ haven't really done a whole lot to peer for information or find what's potentially going on the side of NRG.
Ethan spotted at least 2 players.
And NRG are committed to this outer stack, so now it's all down to INTZ to use the utility properly and not throw this one away.
And one thing that does concern me here, Ven, is if INTZ don't get a move on, we're going to be getting down to the latter stages of this round. If they execute now, that's fine, but make sure you make a decision, you stick with it.
It's good to see
could be a problem.
It's good to see that they're actually using their utility, though.
Yeah.
Not going to fall for that trap again.
They're going to mitigate that issue. They're actually pushing right now, so it's not going to be a problem. Cirque, in the meanwhile, though, point blank does find himself a kill. P250 is doing wonders with the Desert Eagle. Not like this, INTZ. Surely not like this. 25 seconds to go. This is where time is going to start to be a problem. SG picked up, used by Tarek, but the aim punch is too much to contend with. Breeze, in the meanwhile, has no issue. It's down to Destiny, and he's got picked off! They've done it in one of the worst buys, and NRG will cruise into a second map at 1-0. If they win this next map, they're at the Major.
For real this time. No, that's definitely true. NRG closing out their own map pick in, well, a bit of an unexpected fashion with pistols and whatnot, but they still get the job done. Bit of a sad moment or sad wait for INTZ to close that one out. They started to get a couple of rounds on the board there towards the end of it, but just that first half advantage that NRG created for themselves proving to be a little bit too much.
What a turnaround towards the end. I started to believe that INTZ had it within them to bring us back to like an overtime sort of score, but instead, it's all the pistols, man.
Yeah, it's happened quite a few times as well. It's just the chaos that gets created. Again, Zerk being able to win the first frag onto Zane, who pushes forward, sets everything off balance. The fact that he doesn't overcommit as well on the side of Zerk, right? He doesn't get desperate, try to go for a weapon. He just peeks back and forth, staying alive around the 5 train. That staggers everything. Just very well played on the side of NRG. And I mean, for all the utility that they used on the side of INTZ, just still not enough this time.
All right, well, let's toss it over to the desk. What do you guys think of that map?